Okay, so this meeting has been advertised in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act and is publicly accessible in accordance with law. Roll call.
Rocco, I have a question for you. Do I change him to just late when he comes in?
Yes,
Okay, so I'm gonna mark him as A and then just make it L.
correct.
Okay. Dr. George,
Here,
Hey, we
Sarah,
can hear you nice and loud.
Maria,
See me?
I see you, yeah. I have been sick for a month, so my hearing is not as good as it should be, but I'll try.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Maddie,
Here.
Mayor Walker, Frank Weber,
I'm here.
Dr., what is his name, Bragan?
Reagan.
Reagan. Thank you.
Okay, let's stand to salute to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can I make a motion to go into executive session?
Yes, I'll second that motion.
And I will pause the recording.
Okay.
And I am letting,
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright.
and I'm letting Garrett in.
Okay. Okay, we're back.
We can do A and B together.
Okay, so can I have a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes and the executive session minutes from the September board meeting?
I'll make a motion.
I can second.
Okay, sorry. Okay, Rocco,
Yes.
Dr. George,
Abstain,
Sarah,
Yes.
I am a yes. Gina,
I have to say, I didn't leave, I'm sorry.
okay. Maddie,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
thank you.
Did you vote?
Yes.
Janice.
Okay, can I have a motion to accept the resignation of library assistant Ariana Janice?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, Dr. George,
yes,
Sarah,
Yes.
I am a yes. Gina,
Yes.
Maddie,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, that's hot. I know why your name is in the middle of my letters.
You're still absent.
Sorry.
I'm still here, I got here.
Oh my God, sorry.
No problem.
And then simultaneously approving, a motion please to approve the appointment of per diem library assistant Ariana Janice at an hourly rate of $19 effective October 15th. I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Rocco, we'll start with you. Rocco?
Yes.
Yes. Dr. George,
yes,
Sarah,
Yes.
I am a yes. Gina,
Yes.
Maddie,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
thank you.
All right, moving to finance, can I have a motion to take action on the October 8th bill listing in the amount of $230,588.12?
I'll make a motion.
Maddie made the motion,
Second.
Rocco seconded it.
Any do we need this discussion?
Yeah.
Yeah, any discussion on the budget?
No.
No,
So-
it's the bills.
Bill list,
Bill
I'm
list,
not on the
you're
bill
getting
list, sorry, I'm
yourself.
getting ahead of myself. Any discussion on the bill listing? No, okay,
All right, I am a yes. Gina,
Yes.
Maddie,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Rocco,
Yes.
Dr. George,
yes,
Sarah,
yes.
okay, thank you.
Okay, and then a motion please to approve the draft 2025 budget.
Make the motion.
Rocco made the
I'll
motion,
second it,
Sarah seconds.
any discussion here?
Well, I honestly couldn't type on it. Even though I can see it well now. So I took the most recent one and I marked the ones that need to be reviewed, and I can do that with original convenience. So,
Me? I don't know
No.
that.
No.
I was like,
So,
me.
are you saying that you wanna discuss them now at another time, or approve the draft and discuss them in getting ready for 2026?
well, it's kind of academic since we're already here in September. I don't think it's gonna kill us to do that first and then approve it next month.
So I'm sorry, you wanna delay the budget until next month?
The budget's not being delayed, it's being paid, we're paying those bills, are we not?
Yes, we are. How would you suggest that we get the increase accounted for without moving to the new, account limits?
I'm saying that
Okay.
they can be reviewed before the next meeting.
If that's with
So
you and
Frank,
the other trustees.
are you making a motion to table then?
Uh,
Alright, anyone want a second motion to table? Motion passed. Any other discussion?
Okay, roll call. Gina?
Yes.
Maddie?
Yes.
Frank?
We're voting to,
Pass it.
On
Pass it.
no,
Okay, Rocco?
Yes.
Dr. George?
Abstain.
Well, I'm sorry, what did you say?
Abstain.
Abstain.
Okay, thank you.
Abstain.
Sarah?
Yes.
And I am a yes, thank you.
Okay, and then may I have a motion please to approve the transfer of $687,413 to capital fund from money market? I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I'm sorry, Sarah made the motion, Maddie second. Okay, Maddie?
questions?
Yes, we-
Sorry.
Discussion.
Can you explain?
Yes, so I don't think anyone will remember, so last March, after we got to the end of the year, we had underspent. A lot of that was due to the understaffing and other issues that we had. So what I would like to do with that money, since we do have very significant capital projects coming up, that will take us to over the $1 million that's currently in capital. So this just adds it to the capital fund, for us to get ready for the
Circulation,
boilers are
rest of
coming
the
up, the rest of the renovation projects that we have coming up, the garden, the lighting, all of those things. Anything that's not funded by our current appropriation, we would have the money essentially a savings account for the facility. So it remains with the town because it can't be used for salaries, it can't be used for books. It's only for capital improvements to the
Within the
facility.
library, okay,
Thank you.
okay. Any other discussion?
Yeah. The money that we're finally getting 2.5% interest on is accumulating quite rapidly. So if you're just moving it in paper to the account rather than being moved out of the savings account?
You mean the interest on this money?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just whatever's extra while we have capital projects that would take us outside of our regular budget. My suggestion is to move them to the capital fund so that we have those monies available when we
You're
are
ready to
doing the
like pay
project.
from it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Ready?
Yeah.
Maddie?
Yes.
Frank?
No,
Rocco?
Yes.
Dr. George?
Oh,
Maria? Oh, she's not here. Sarah?
yes.
I am a yes. Gina?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to old business. Can I have a motion to approve the bathroom renovation and the server closet construction in the amount of $524,036.50?
I
Discussion.
And just, yeah.
I will make the motion.
Okay, we
Discussion.
got a motion first,
Okay.
right?
I will second it.
Alright, discussion. I know we're talking about renovating the bathrooms, but have we discussed about, you mentioned when I first came that you were having blow-up issues with the plumbing, right, in the bathrooms, and I don't, is this renovation going to cover the plumbing issues that we have?
Yes, and that was specifically discussed after you and I took a trip down there months ago. I went through that, went through it with them, explained, that very specifically this had to be addressed in addition to the very obvious cosmetic
Right.
concerns that we have, and the change to make the bathrooms now accommodate more current trends for families and things like that.
Right.
So they went through all that, and just to give everyone an overview. And I heard from the architect this morning who couldn't be here this evening, but he texted me this morning, whatever we need tonight, I can text, let him know. So they started off, this project, we're going through our purchasing contracts, which mean that we don't have to go out to bid. We belonged to already to ESCNJ, which the town also belongs to. When this went through, the architect wasn't happy with the proposal that we got back. So without even discussing it, they went through MOESC, which is the Monmouth Ocean
Yeah.
Educational Services Commission, and they were happier with that price and that proposal after reviewing it, because this is what we hired the architect to do. So they went through and their recommendation is the MOESC and awarding to Magic Touch. And this also, so part of this, just to explain, the bathrooms are obviously one major issue, and this is the whole suite on that end of the building, which would have to be closed for about a month. But we'll have our other bathrooms and then we can do the others later. This is also for the server closet. So what that does is it takes the executive assistant for finance's office, cuts a piece off for the server closet, but you can't just cut a piece off. It has to be, the HVAC has to be changed around. The cooling standards for a server closet are different than what they are currently for that room. So this is all of those pieces
In one,
in one. I put the two of them together. It's an odd pairing, but they were both things that needed to be done.
any other discussion?
Yeah, I'm gonna vote no because I've started to research. I don't think there's some things that we're required to do by the state laws. On the way some of the accounts were mentioned and what the role is of when the township automatically can take money from us if it's not being treated properly. So, without going into great detail, that's why I'm gonna vote no.
Anything else?
No, good. Frank?
No.
Rocco?
Yes.
Dr. George?
Oh,
Sarah?
Yes.
I am a yes. Gina?
Yes.
Maddie?
Yes.
Thank you.
Then under old business, you have a new motion based upon earlier discussions, motion to exclude library patron Aurelio Dominguez Vieira from all library property pursuant to the acceptable behavior policy for the period of October 9th, 2025, and pending resolution of criminal proceedings.
Can you make the motion?
Sarah made the motion.
I'll second it.
Gina seconds it. Rocco?
Discussion?
Oh,
Yeah,
discussion,
discussion.
sorry.
Should we
Thank you.
suspend his library card as well in the interim?
If he's going to access books remotely, I don't think that offends your procedures, but that would be a decision for the board.
That is a matter for also the consortium. If he is a Madawan member and has a Madawan card, then he is still able to access the consortium. If he's not a card holder here, which I don't believe he
Do you
checks
know
out
where his,
books.
do you know his address?
I don't have the address.
All right, 14,000 of the citizens in Old Bridge have Madawan addresses.
I'm
We
aware of
probably
that,
have more
and that's
addresses
why,
than Madawan does.
that's why I asked for clarification on the address. But yeah, as I understand it, this person uses physical materials in the newspapers.
We should probably leave that alone because we don't wanna
Yeah.
take action on behalf of another agency, you have the right to do. So
Yeah.
let's leave it at access to property.
Agreed.
Anything else? No? Okay, Rocco?
Yes.
Dr. George?
yes,
Maria? Sarah?
Yes.
Sorry, I keep doing that tonight.
Okay.
I am a yes. Gina?
Yes.
Maddie?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving on to new business.
So new business, I have 2 items for, again, facility projects that are not near bid threshold. So they don't technically require a vote from the board, but it's up to the board as to whether you want to vote. One is over 6,000 and one is over 10,000. So I can present those now and you can, if it's all right, your permission, I'll just tell you what they are, and then you can make a decision
how about
about
that?
whether they require a vote.
Yeah.
So, our new, HVAC contractor has already done a fantastic job of rectifying most of our air balancing issues, and they will continue to do that. I do not believe that we need to move forward with all temperature controls for managing our Metasys system, because Unitemp came in and did that and they did have more of an impact than they've had. So just so you know, before we get started, there's already a savings of $5,562 because we've not renewed that contract. One boiler had already been identified by the previous contractor as needing a repair. And it was around $2,000. I didn't move forward with them because if we were changing contractors, I wanted someone else to take a look at that. So they came in and they found that all 3 of our boilers require repairs. One of the future capital projects that I mentioned, I didn't somehow realize that 2 of our boilers, I believe, are original to the building, which puts them past their lifespan, which just, so I'm getting, they're still functioning, but I'm getting estimates for them simply for capital planning. This, just to give you the detail.
That's pretty old.
And we had failed state inspection for, no, that's not that one. It was, it's $6,823, and he's saying that all 3 of them, we knew that one of them had a leak with it's not air balancing, the overflow valve, and he's saying that all 3 overflow valves need to be replaced on those boilers at that cost. Since this is a new contractor, I just wanted to alert everyone, I am of the mind to go ahead and approve this. We've already made a substantial savings, and this gets us ready for our annual inspections with the repairs on those boilers. And then we'll have to make it, one of our boilers was replaced in, I think it was 2022, something like that, and the other 2 are, it's either they're over 28 years or whatever it
It's
is.
started building
So the
'87, but it opened in '91.
the $6,823, that's for the 3 boilers.
Yes, all 3
For
boilers.
repairs.
For repairs, not new ones.
Yeah,
No,
not new ones.
oh no.
But now,
Yeah.
we're repairing the old boilers?
That's what I was just gonna say.
I mean,
do we wanna
Are we
spend money
throwing
to
good money into a bad
repair instead of replace?
And my only question, and this is, we can go ahead and I can ask them, and I'll just go ahead with the repair to the one. There's a chance that they would not pass state inspection when that comes up. And I have to say, replacing boilers is going to be a substantive project.
Did we get estimates for new boilers?
I requested that once he gave me this. Also, I'm looking into, PSE&G has programs for businesses for energy savings. So I wanna make sure that we take a look at that, cause I had rooftop units replaced at another library at a lower cost through that project. And,
They tend to be more expensive than using a regular contractor, just to let you
well,
know.
and it's interesting,
They really are.
they asked me if we had a contractor, we wanted to recommend to them to become one of their contractors. So,
The library's a resource place.
it's one of those things, I would just anticipate it taking months for us to even get permissions and all the things for getting those replaced, and that's gonna put us in the middle of winter. And I didn't know if we wanted to just get through until at least spring with
Well,
what
I-
we've got.
Well, I think we should get bids just in the event that they go.
I've already started the
Yeah.
process.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, first of all, parts are very limited to get. The efficiency on those boilers have to be horrible. So we're probably wasting more money than anything else on those. I
And
mean,
if-
I got boilers, I have 24 boilers, 23 boilers that I have to replace. And I've already told my boss, prepare yourself, cause they're 26 years old.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to get parts for them.
What's the range of a new one about?
Yeah.
Not holding you to it, but what does it
Honestly,
vary to?
it literally depends on how well you take care of them. That's really what it comes down to. You could have a boiler last you, I have units, HVAC units over at Madison Arms that are 35 years old. They're not efficient, but they work.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't get parts for them anymore, so when somebody moves out, it's that old. I have 188 units, I've replaced 160 of them, because it doesn't pay. I'm not gonna be able to get the parts, and then I can't have a resident not happy. That's what
cost about?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say boilers, like my boilers, we spent probably back 20 some odd years ago to do 23 boilers. They spent $1 million,
23 years ago.
23 years ago. And these are not big, huge boilers.
I was here a
Well,
large.
we
Ours
only
is
need
a big,
3.
huge boiler.
Yours is huge,
We only
yeah.
need 3.
So
The
just
thing
so
is,
you,
though, like,
yeah.
they're
And that was
great.
just, that's just the material, that wasn't,
So
that wasn't the
many
cost
people
of the
come
install.
here when it's cold if they don't, like,
Yeah.
we have to make sure it's a warming center, this is really important.
Absolutely. So that's why I'm bringing this to the board, that's why our capital plan's important, that's why having funds in the capital plan's important.
Yeah.
So that we don't have to go back to the town and say, oh,
Right.
guess what, we need something
Right.
more. We can take care of
Yeah.
things. So my thought process on this, and no one has to agree with me, that's why I'm glad you're all here. That I was hoping just to get through the winter. With these, we did another repair on another part, was doing this to get through the winter, and then obviously be working on, this way we've got 6 months to plan for the boiler replacement.
Well, he should be able to get you prices like
Yeah, like
within 2
right
weeks.
away.
Does it take
Absolutely.
that long to install?
But we can't just go ahead with those prices. And especially if we're over bid threshold, we have to go out to bid.
Well, if we do one boiler at a time, so, because now, the way the boilers work here, like in my buildings, if one boiler goes down, I have 2 other boilers. Like I have a high rise in Landing Lane in New Brunswick, and I have another one in Perth Amboy. I have 5 boilers in one building, and then I have 6 in another. They work on one boiler reaches its temperature, and then kind of goes down, and then the next one picks up.
Okay.
So so that's the reason. Now, it may take a little bit longer for the building to get warm because you're not working with, let's say, 5 or 7 boilers, but you are still providing
It's a
heat.
progression.
So I'm not sure that would work the same way here.
Okay.
Because one boiler's gonna do the meeting room. So the way that this building is designed, we have our 8 rooftop units.
Okay.
And then because we're all glass, they needed to do some things on the perimeters. So the boilers only control the radiators. So our HVAC units are doing heating and cooling.
Right.
This is only extra for the winter. So in the meeting room, you'll see it's all baseboard around there to keep that room. The other ones are gonna be in the children's area back over there. So how that's gonna be at warming the supplement on the other side of the building in a room that size has me a bit concerned.
Sure.
Neither here nor there, like I said, it was that was my only thought, was getting through until we can get to spring. Cause it's gonna cost us 2,000, so in reality, this is 4,000 to get the other 2 done. So that is an expense of 4,000 to make sure that we're getting through the winter, which we can't ensure, but we're trying our best. And then right now, start on that, because any project over 17.5 is over bid threshold and we've gotta go out to bid.
How long does the bid have to be? Is it 30 days or
No.
can it be longer?
It
It
can
could be
be-
less,
Can we
10
shorten
days,
it? It
can be
15,
10.
right, cause I just did one and I only had it like 10 days. So we could
It's
actually
not
do
the
it and get it in a
longer.
window.
Or you
Right.
could also
Which is what
get
I would
estimates through the architect and then do it through one of the co-ops. And you've had good luck going through MOESC and ESCNJ.
Right.
That's a wonderful option and it also gets you
That's a great idea.
well higher up than having to go out to bid.
It's a
But it's
really
also
good
gonna
idea.
cost us a lot more with the architect,
Yes.
so that,
Well, you know what though? Obviously, this wasn't configured properly because that,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
in
Back
hindsight,
in the day.
all glass,
Right,
there's no insulation there.
right.
But this is when, we have this money
Yeah,
to do things like
absolutely.
this,
You
right? It's
just-
just sitting in
Yeah.
this bank account doing nothing.
Yeah, not
It's
doing
great, it's
nothing.
making interest, but like, this
Not
is
that much.
important, yeah.
So
So I think we should try to get a bid as soon as possible.
agree.
I would
I
like to
agree.
see how much.
I hate Band-Aids.
Yeah.
So do
Me
I,
too.
and if they say we're not gonna be able to install until February or March, that's a
Then
different
it's
story, then
different,
sure,
right, then
maybe
we
we
revisit.
approve.
But you know, most of these
Band-Aids.
big companies will, and this has happened in Old Bridge, not one of my buildings, you'll know about this. Mapleview had no heat.
Mhm.
They had a leak on their gas line,
I know that.
no heat, no hot water during Passover and
Yeah.
Easter. And there are companies,
So much.
there are companies out there that come, my company has used them with these big tractor trailers with supplement heat to provide heat for people.
Right.
God forbid, these bigger companies do have that. So God forbid that happens, the company that we have should have that capability of doing that. If for some reason the heat went down in this building.
We did that recently at one of the schools.
Yeah, there you go.
But can we do it before is it possible if we do a 10-day bid to see if by November the board meeting?
So I
That would
just,
be very, very,
Okay.
so I also need everybody to remember that we've got the bathrooms now, that's gotta be completely controlled by me, change management. Then we've got the other renovation coming, which again, I've gotta find them a staff room, move circulation, this isn't normal library director stuff, right? So this is
That's
in
why you get a
addition.
facility manager.
Yeah, and this is why, so we have that, the garden still looks like, you know what I mean, we're in the middle, and we'll get to all of those, I'm not trying to detract from doing it the right way, because we want to. Because then we're gonna have peace of mind, we're gonna know what's coming, rather than responding when things explode. So, for me, for right now, the newer boiler at minimum needs the repair for the, what is it?
well,
The overflow.
Yeah, overflow, thank you. So the one that was put in 2022, we're not gonna replace. So that one, we could go ahead with the repair on, okay? And then the other two, you want me to hold off with repair until I can see how quickly we can get something moved through with the boilers.
Another
Alright.
question. Can we get the SEER ratings on the existing air conditioning units now?
You wanna see the energy ratings on the existing units?
Because I just replaced everything in my home, which is about 30 years old. I had put a new unit in. And I think I'm not getting billed for it. It's so much higher in this year.
Yeah.
So, given that we are a cooling center, while we have the money, maybe that's something we should also invest in.
Invest in new HVAC units also?
If the SEER rating is not nearly as effective as it should be, and you have to figure it out.
Well, here's what I'm gonna tell you, it's not even much the SEER rating, and the fact is that Freon now, what they were using, there was R22 and now there's 410A. Now there is a different type of Freon that has butane in it. So when you change the units, you can't use that in these. So the cost of getting those Freons are very costly. So it's not just a matter of the rating on the efficiency of it and the energy of it, it's the fact that what the cost is going to be to, if there's a leak on one of your HVAC units, to refill, you can't refill it. You just can't use that on that, and you can't replace parts. Because they don't make those parts, and they're not going to make those parts anymore, because they're forcing you to buy new ones. So I'm going through it with my house, my contractor couldn't go up my attic because it was so hot, but he's gonna do it mid-November. And it's just, you can't, now you have to get, there's fire certificates now that have to be, because the Freon has butane in it, which is ridiculous.
So if I remember correctly, because the first thing I typically do is go over the HVAC units. The boilers, I don't know how I missed that. Anyway, from my understanding, the HVAC units were all within lifespan, pretty well within lifespan. But I can ask Unitemp to give me information and their recommendations
Do we know
on that.
when they will replace?
I do, but I don't have it right here with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, anything over 10 years is just not even efficient anymore. I
Yeah.
think they're up to 14 or 15.
I mean,
so-
hey, listen, if we're gonna be replacing some,
Mine-
let's just check for you, right? So that
Absolutely.
in the summer,
Yeah.
And the ones I put in are 14.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's just the project. We'll get it done.
Just in time.
Ask a question.
Yes.
What does the owner of the building have any responsibility in providing heat?
So I've given you my perspective before. I don't know if people want to hear it again.
Asking the attorney that?
she's asking.
go ahead with what the status quo is.
So in libraries, in what has been since the beginning of my career, the municipal appropriation, it is the library's duty to expend that, a municipal appropriation. it is also the library's duty to take care of the facility as best as it can. And only when there's something above and beyond that might have to go out for bond or something like that, that they ask the municipality for. The reason why capital funds exist by state law in libraries is so that we can take money and put it aside for these projects to care for the facility. So we're supposed to take care of what we can without going back to the municipality and asking them for additional funds. Our allocation is supposed to take care of that, but because we have one formula statewide for public libraries, it's not always a perfect fit. And some libraries are gonna be underfunded and they have to go back to the municipalities, and some libraries are gonna be able to put money away in their capital funds, and that's how they get things done without seeking anything over the appropriation.
And that's where that move that you did earlier tonight, Finance C, is so
Right, yeah.
important. And to answer your question, Dr. George, yeah, if you were letting your money lapse to surplus and get taken back by the town, then we would probably be chasing them to take care of the building despite there's being no
I
agreement.
wouldn't be,
But with the money being moved into capital funds for the capital improvement projects that are listed, this is something that the library should be taking care of. It's almost common funding between the township and you, because we are recapturing these monies instead of letting them lapse to the township. So it is best done by the library.
I don't have a problem in providing the funding. I just want to understand who owns a building, what's the difference between maintenance and redoing it? I mean, $500,000 isn't maintenance only for the bathrooms. There has to be something beyond that. But at any rate, what it looks like from here, you just put money in capital and then you can get anything approved you want there. There may be things that are recommended to us as capital improvements that we don't think are worth it. We don't want that, all right? So you may have the money there, but you still have to get approval for the capital project.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah,
so
I mean,
at any rate, what you're saying is that it is our responsibility to provide new boilers in the building?
Yes, short of of something that would require a referendum, which we hope to never be the case, and given your financial fitness, it's probably not gonna be the case anytime soon. Yes, it's your responsibility to do this. And as far as involving the township and asking them to do these things without them getting the money back, this is a much better way to do it. And it's
That
certainly.
isn't what I wanted to do. I just wanted to meet with the township so that they know what we're doing and the fact we're doing it out of the kindness of our heart, but whatever. Not to just expect,
It's our duty though.
And the mayor sits on this board and I know she gets all the information, so
Yeah.
township is well aware. And she has an alternative.
you have met with the mayor, I mean, the mayor.
We have a designee for the mayor here, every
I'm
year.
aware of that.
Well, then township knows, is the point.
Well, that's a quantum leap, but at any rate, thank you, Chris.
Just,
And to your point, yes, everything is subject to trustee votes. If you decided you didn't want new boilers, you don't have to do it. That is checks and balances between director recommendations and board action.
how long was the library closed during, March 20th we closed, I think? And how long did it last for?
Anyone?
Yeah.
Linda?
And when,
When did we reopen
for
after
after
COVID?
COVID?
To really get going?
It was
It was late,
October?
yeah,
Like a
It
year?
was over a year and a half.
over a year, yeah.
Yeah, it was a
All
start.
right, so, the union made a proposal when we had to walk out of here on March 9th, that, they wanted to work from home and they could do work from home. Yet they were able to collect unemployment and they were getting more money from the federal government, which exceeded their salaries at all levels. So, I proposed, and which was accepted, that they get laid off and we started bringing people back when we doing books out early. So right now, our annual budget, and this would include the payroll, FICA, disability, and medical insurance, but we paid the medical insurance for the people who were covered. We paid that out of it. So we realized probably close to $2 million in savings. That all went in for this fund. We also had a very successful passport program that, although they've taken some things away from us, not just from us, from everybody in the state, we do make money there as well. So those are the two things that generally drive the biggest part of what we have in our bank.
I can feel like you feel like there's a lot on your plate, so I just, like, we're also here to help you, so I don't want you to feel like we're adding on these projects, but I feel like you feel overwhelmed right now, so I wanna let you talk to us if you are feeling like, I realize there's no facilities, there's a lot of facility stuff happening, so like, tell us how we can help you, because I can feel from you that you're like, this is just another facility project now being thrown on my lap, and
Where are we with the facility ban?
So my frustration is that we're not reducing the number of projects because it's taken so long to get each and every one of these projects done. They're stacking up. So this is great. We're moving forward with 2 of our huge projects.
Yep.
This is great progress. But I think it is important to remember that each one of these has to be managed by me. So, and it's with the township and engineering and DPW, everybody's great and helps us, and that's fantastic. Being understanding is one, facility manager, that's gotta have a discussion with the personnel committee. Personnel committee, in discussion with that, would have to have a job description approved. I sent a draft.
Yes.
So that would have to be approved, and then that would have to go to the full board, and then that would have to be taken care of.
Yeah, because there was some things on that job description that I felt should not be a facility manager's, because shoveling of the snow should be done by DPW.
And this is only in case of emergency.
Right.
If DPW hasn't been here, they should be here, that's fantastic. What I was trying to prevent with that, just so you know, is somebody feeling like they're above that. I don't do those things. I spread salt when we need it.
I do it at my property.
And this is
Because I'm not slipping.
the only thing I was trying to do there was make sure that it wasn't outside of someone's job description so that they could complain later on if we had an emergency.
Well, you know what, the right facility manager, in my opinion, ensures that everything is being done to make sure that nobody falls up, because the lawsuit then pens, and that falls on that person.
That's,
I mean, it's no different than the superintendent of a building that makes sure that when he walks into his building, it's not slippery because the students are gonna fall. It's the same thing, so a facility manager has to be that person that knows how to do that.
Yeah.
And they should have some sort of certifications, they should have an HVAC certification.
Yeah.
They should be, just so that they know when they're talking to someone, you know, I may not be able to change a toilet bowl, but I know what the process is.
Yeah.
So, you know, so the HVAC person, when he's speaking to a contractor, knows what exactly is the lingo for that.
Sure.
So,
And that's where I've explained to people, you're not gonna get somebody who, you know, is a plumber because they need to know it. We had a person apply for a different position who was a facility manager at a large university library here in New Jersey. I got so excited, but we weren't at that point for me to even know if that's what I needed help with.
Right.
But just to give you an example of some of these projects, so on Friday, I'm gonna give you the saga of the door at Lawrence Harbor. The door closer is stripped. So we go through, our custodian takes a look at it, nothing. DPW is helpful, so they go and take a look at it, they can't do it either. I then go get our locksmith to come out and look at it, he gives a proposal, it's expensive.
very
So
expensive.
I reach out to Amboy Bank to find out if it's this expensive, do we replace the door? So I have to reach out to them to ask them, do you think this should, you know, do you care if we replace or fix? I then get a response, this is your responsibility, why are you asking us? And I understand
It's a
that.
hell of a lot more expensive to replace the door.
And this is, all I was doing was making sure that we were being conscious of the building owners' concerns.
I can tell you, there was 2 doors in one of my buildings, that every time one door closed, the other would do, and
Yeah.
the poor woman that lived above, for 5 years it was going on, I was like, really,
Yeah.
like, you didn't think to call somebody?
Yeah.
It cost me $1,100 to fix both closers,
Right.
each,
Yeah.
$1,100
And-
for the closer. But guess what? Now there's no noise, nobody hears anything. My boss said to me, that was expensive. I said, would you like to be the person living above
Yeah,
this
no,
door?
this poor lady, oh my
So-
god.
Should've got a reduction on her rent.
So our closer's closing too fast, threatening to clip people when they're trying to come in line.
That's
Getting fixed now on Friday.
Yeah.
Because I finally said, I can't invest any more hours into this project.
I use a company called Westwood, they're not
Right.
cheap, but they're fantastic.
And if my job was to manage this facility, my hands would be full and it would be fine, but it's not.
No.
It's to make sure our programming is done, to make sure that our core competencies for our staff are done, our ducks are spelled properly. You know what I mean? That's the library stuff. So I'm not whining and I know you're all considering.
No,
The
for
only,
sure.
yeah, the only other thing that is really hog tying us is the bid threshold. The bid threshold was raised across the state for the schools and for the municipality. Somehow libraries were not included in that. That's fine, but using the municipality's QPA is a standard procedure. Here, we did it when I first got here, but then when we requested to go into it again, they said that they would rather not do that. Without using the municipality's QPA, and there are two of them, because that raises our bid threshold to over 55,000 at this point. So that means the garden project would be done.
Yep.
The lighting would be done.
Yep.
So my thing is with that story of the door, is that I don't have the time to get 3 estimates on $1,000 repair, when I would like to.
That's silly, yeah.
But if somebody else could do that, and they had the proposals and preparing the packet for me and just saying, here you go, then that's a different item. So the QPA from the municipality, if they say no, they say no. I'm sorry, I've thought about it, I am not going to get that certification. It's a lot and I'm getting older. So that's just not being done. But if there was a way that we could do that, we would have, a big bulk of our projects done. And the other part of this is, once we get these projects done, I need to make sure that our institutional knowledge is not being lost. What did we do? Why did we do that? Why are we going through this? There needs to be a narrative that's preserved so that we're not guessing when did we close and when did we open, but we have that right at our fingertips. And that's what's important. What's the next project? 5 years from now, we're gonna have I haven't even told you about the window seals, right? We need to get to the shades and the blinds, dropping their weights down when people are walking by. There's so much. And we're getting there. We're making tremendous progress. So
Was it the BA or the CFO that said no?
it was the attorney. The BA
No.
approached the attorney to ask, and this is why I'm not trying to overturn what that person said, but maybe they're not familiar with it.
Would it be worthwhile for you to reach out to Roselli?
I can talk to Mark and Ken and see what they think, but
Maybe if you speak to Ken?
go around Mark.
Because the state library, and I sent a link a while
It is very
ago.
common practice.
Yes,
Yeah,
It-
so
it's what
if
they
you,
do,
if
so.
maybe if you speak to them, perhaps that would
Let's
make
see
a
if we could
difference.
try.
sure. Yeah, that was
There's no
We got
reason
this
why we couldn't,
facility-
it literally takes 2 seconds for them to do.
Yeah.
And we've
got
done
this
it before.
facility,
Process.
we'll work on it.
Yeah, we did it for you.
Yeah.
We've done it before and it worked out
At the end
well.
of Manchu's time.
We'll try to get that job
Yeah.
ready for November.
Yeah, and we have a
Okay.
whole bunch of things with the personnel committee, which I'll go over in the director's report.
Which we can.
And then we'll be ready for that.
do now, director's report.
Now, one other item I wanted to mention also.
Oh,
When the building that's being, I don't know when it's gonna be finished, when it's ever done at Lawrence Harbor, was a total of close to $8 million. The library gave 1.8 million to them. You're getting the whole second floor. So,
And it's,
and that came out of all that money you saved during COVID, basically.
yeah, and I appreciate that, Frank. The savings is something that you can be proud of. It's something that I have to work every day to make up for. Because we lost so much. The other libraries that stayed open and learned new ways to serve their communities are so far ahead of us now. And we're catching up.
What service were they doing?
When they were doing all of their story times and the curbside things, we did some of that, but there was a lot more done in other communities. And that's why we're working very hard to get our numbers back to where they were, and we're close.
How do they do the things with the children, different building?
I can go through if you want a report on how other libraries approached COVID, but they did do.
That's,
No,
that's.
we don't.
that's
We're
another
gonna-
time.
we're gonna be going
That's-
backwards.
Yeah, we're not gonna go
You don't need
backwards.
to add any more on your.
Alright, let's move on to the director's report.
And sorry, before we get there, there's this one other project that is a more substantial project. So on our list of IT projects getting through with the IT renovation, which with this is the very last piece and we're done.
Okay.
So this is an evaluation of our Wi-Fi. Our Wi-Fi system is older, they're over 10 years old for the access points and things like that. So we went through just to see about updating that before we end up with things breaking and falling apart, and our Wi-Fi is not fantastic. It was fantastic that we did this because all of our access points are no longer getting updates. So they are all beyond their life cycle, so it is something that we need to address. The other thing is, the difference between what we're projecting out to the parking lot and what we're doing in here, understanding how that works was extremely important for IT, and I'll make sure that that's documented. So I asked our IT manager to work with the state library, and it's Charles Marquette, to come up with a proposal. So to replace our access points, 5-year contract on the software for all of them that is prepaid, and the powering, because how you power them is different, is a total of $10,784. Again, this isn't close to bid threshold, but because it's a substantive investment, I wanted to bring that up to all of you. There is some discussion of, this would take us through the next 5 years, where we would, so a couple of things we would benefit. We're gonna get better coverage in here, we're gonna get better speed, and for the first time, we're gonna be able to track the number of Wi-Fi sessions. That's something that the state reports ask for that we can't currently get. So it would enable us to do that. So I'd like to go through with this, like I said, and that's between 5 and 10 years that we can do that. And again, it doesn't require a vote for the bid, but if you wanna do that, then that's up to the board.
I think that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Need
that's
that.
fully worth it.
Yeah.
Anybody disagree?
Okay.
Okay,
All right, now director's
just
report.
report.
More expenses with buildings. The PA system repair, they came in on Monday, so if you remember, we had a lot of discussion about this, we decided to go through with the repair, but instead of waiting to go through and rewiring all the speakers for the building. They were scheduled to come out, they came out, the power went because somebody drove through a light pole and we missed out on that window. They are so backed up because there are so few companies that do this. They finally got out on Monday. In the time from when this estimate was given to now, and I was there when he did it, the amp that's attached to the system has now also not survived. So I asked them to get a proposal, this is the same company, out to us as quickly as possible. So it is the new amp, and they've also suggested that part of why our system didn't do so well was because the units were laid on top of each other, and without temperature control, there was an issue that placed undue. My thing is, at this point, we've been for over 2 months without a PA system. And this is now an additional $2,000, but I would like to move forward with it and just get this done.
When we get the meeting notice that the library's gonna close in 15 minutes,
It's that system that's not working. We haven't had it for 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is an additional 2,000, and then when we look at going digital, that's when we'll also look at the cameras. I'd like to look at our glare horns on our emergency system, because I don't see them getting anyone out of the building, they sound like sick ducks.
Speaking of, just stab mine.
Okay, alright,
Copy of me?
that was, alright, those were those big ones. We had an issue we're looking into, I just don't ever want any of you to be blindsided. We had an issue where we had trouble with printing for a weekend, and that's a critical service. Many people rely on us, And Xerox is supposed to proactively monitor all of our machines, and they weren't. So we're gonna make sure that that doesn't happen again, but I wanted you to be aware of that.
I'm sorry, is our printing free or do we charge?
We do charge.
What do we charge? How much? You don't know?
I think it's like 15 cents a page.
Yeah, I have the current one.
Yeah, the color is.
I don't
more.
have a printer, that's the good to know.
And our, you know,
Color.
having the best is really important so that people know going to the library is a place to take care of stuff. The fax machine has been working out tremendously. It actually gets a lot of use. So that was a nice investment.
That's
People
awesome.
still ask for fax.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It's so weird, I'm like,
I hate that.
I don't even think I know how to do that, that's ridiculous. I have to do it through my copier, that's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also, I need to get our fire drill on the schedule. The folks
Okay.
from the fire department have been excellent. I just need to get it scheduled before the weather gets too bad, and our patrons will be very upset when they're asked to evacuate.
Yep.
I want to make you aware of a massive problem that's gonna impact libraries across the country. Baker and Taylor, who has been our primary book provider for eternity practically, has gone under.
Oh, no.
So this is impacting, they had what is probably the bulk of libraries across the country, and every library is now scrambling for finding another solution. The consortium has been putting forward, Amazon is apparently wanting to get into the library game.
Of course.
And that's not
Why not?
something that, in the consortium, I have voiced my absolute lack of support for that. We're already involved with some other booksellers, but you may see we're putting signs up that if things aren't coming as quickly as we want, so that's gonna impact our spending for this year too. So what I'm asking our staff to do is to bulk up on our ebooks, and make sure that people can get access to an ebook or an e-audiobook, even if the print ones aren't coming. So it's not like we won't have any books, but we're gonna put up signs and make sure that we have public messaging about that. So I also just wanna thank all of our staff, because our collection management team that doing the book processing and the acquisitions and all of that have done a tremendous amount. This impacts our book selectors, our change in processes all have to be taken care of. Finance, the way that Irene does our spending on our books is gonna be changing. So we're navigating that just to keep you all in the loop. I just wanted to apologize, I made an error under funding, it said the draft of the audit was included with the packet, that was wrong, that was last month. I actually take your reports, just so you know, and I start with last month's report and make sure that there's updates on everything before we go ahead. Sorry, I just wanna make sure I've hit everything. Oh, I wanted to get your opinion. The Chilton's database, anybody ever used Chilton's manuals or remember Chilton's manuals? So for anyone who's ever repaired your car, Chilton's manuals, you would go get the
Okay.
Chilton's manual and it would show you how to change your brake pads and how to do things. So we just we're getting rid of the NewYorkTimes.com database because it's very aggressive with its information mining. The historical New York Times database that we have from another provider is fabulous and it's gonna serve our students well. I was looking at adding, it is a $5,000 database, it's $5,500, but it gives you access to every Chilton's manual. And as we see, supposedly, people driving or buying used cars is going up higher than ever, and people may be looking to save some money. I'd like to try the Chilton's database just for a year, because we would be serving a demographic that we don't normally get in. We're talking about people who like doing their own home car repair or adjustments or. And this is.
Yeah.
So he would be able to go onto the library's website. Everybody now can go search YouTube and see if you can find the right thing. I've done it. But I would prefer going to the authority in car repair, which is Chilton's. And we have the
It's
money.
55 for the year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why
why
not?
I just
not?
wanted
Yeah.
to, I wanted to hear
Drive
what
her
you
here.
thought about taking a different turn and
Yeah.
reaching out
Right.
that way.
Attract new members, I think it's great to try, let's see.
Yeah.
That book would be
How
a
would people
giant
know
sale,
that it's
sale
available?
item in West Virginia, we spent the weekend. You couldn't see how many old cars and stuff.
Here's go to the kids'
Yeah, the promotion's gonna
Yeah,
have, it's
cool.
good for us to also get used to promoting it in a different way.
The auto shop
Right,
Kids
so-
might love that.
Yeah.
they definitely.
And
schools.
so that, but then also, like I said, to get out there and reach those people. I just talked to staff today about going out to one of the sporting events and asking if we can have a table.
Then maybe just the car show.
The car show.
Two car shows.
Okay. Oh, wow.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I think this
That
would,
would be a good idea.
It's a great
And
idea.
Madawan does the car show, they're
Yeah.
gonna.
Yeah,
Just reaching out, trying something different and making sure we're accommodating
I
everyone.
like it.
Alright, so we're gonna do that, and I think we're done, I think I'm done. Except for one very cool thing that I think would be a nice way to end the night. So last week I received a plant for our staff, and I just wanted to read you a letter from a community member. I would like to express my deepest thanks for the invaluable support you extended to me during one of the most challenging periods of my life. Earlier this year, I faced an unexpected job loss that left me feeling uncertain and disheartened. In search of a quiet place to focus and regroup, I turned to the Old Bridge Library, and what I found was far more than just a place to print resumes or use Wi-Fi. I found a space of calm, dignity, and genuine community support. Every visit, whether to print, research opportunities, or simply find the quiet focus needed to apply for jobs day after day, was met with warmth and professionalism from your entire staff. There's a nice shout out for the town too. There is, in addition, a deeply personal layer to the story. I am a 9/11 family member. And one day while using study room 12, which I requested simply because it was quiet, I looked up from my working and to my surprise saw the beautiful 9/11 memorial just outside the window. I felt as though my uncle was with me, offering strength just when I needed it most. From then on, I found quiet comfort working in study room 12 or 9 with the memorial view.
That's very nice.
I'm thrilled to share that I secured a wonderful new position. As a token of my appreciation, please accept this lucky cake.
Aw, that's very sweet.
That's beautiful.
She's only left her first name, I don't think she wanted to be acknowledged. But I just wanted you to see some of the things that we get every day. And I don't take it for granted, but you know, some days I do get a little,
That is very nice.
yeah, we're great.
Excellent.
What's next?
So talking on community support, can we talk about?
Oh, personnel, thank you,
You're
that's what
welcome.
I forgot.
You
Okay.
want down? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
So we have a couple of things that I detailed. One was the facility manager, we'll have that meeting and look at that description. I am, what else? So the other part of this, libraries, it's been a nationwide trend to have a social worker at libraries. Not every library has one. Madawan recently added a part-time social worker, and Piscataway has a social worker on staff. I think that when a social worker comes on board, it's been a tremendous boon for the library. There's also an incredibly complex amount of liability, policy, how this person's being directed, what is gonna be the scope of what assistance. And Madawan having someone is different than having a social worker for 70,000 people. So there are lots of considerations, but under the direction of the trustees and the personnel committee, I'll undertake visiting those libraries, talking to those directors, learning about their experience, getting salary together, getting all those kinds of things, but it may take a month or two before I can get all of that together. And I'll be asking Chris for his opinions as well, because I don't, I know how to manage librarians.
Right.
It's very different to be managing a social worker.
And if I could just speak on that really quick, so I work not only here in Old Bridge full-time, I'm also an employee of Piscataway part-time. And I visited their library and I met with Heidi, their director, on business for Piscataway, but as a board of director, it was nice also to see their perspective. And we did speak because I am community outreach in Piscataway, I'm their program supervisor, as I do a lot of community outreach here for Old Bridge. And I will tell you from our perspective, well, first of all, from Heidi's perspective, it has been extremely useful. A lot of the patrons do go in, because what happens is residents don't always know where to go. And as the letter just said, that resident was saying how this is a place to come, and she was able to find that comfort and solitude to just be able to clear her head and refocus. So having a social worker here would be very instrumental in helping our residents. There are so many times, and Gina knows, Dawn knows, I spend hours. I am not a social worker, but I do spend a lot of time working with our residents on so many different avenues of housing, employment, food, funding, you name it. I partner up with our senior center because they don't always go into the senior center. I have people of all ages. And again, I'm not really a social worker. To have somebody here on the complex facility would really benefit our community.
Is that what they would do, like outreach kind of work and?
So I mean, it depends on what kind of outreach, you know what I mean, we're talking about. I need to see what the other ones are doing. So outreach for library use, we do. This would be someone going to offer assistance with social services.
Yes, right.
And that's, I think if we were to offer it, I think the person would be busy enough just being here. I think people, but that's, it's sort of like we have to decide what business are we in. So certainly, assistance with housing, finding
Which
legal
you
assistance.
did, and which I want to just interject, because I was the recording secretary on Section 8 when we reopened up the list. So when we reopened the list, we made it available to the patrons to be able to come here. We actually made the start time a little later to coordinate with the opening of the library. And staff was able then to assist them online. So doing stuff like that really benefits so many different organizations here. Unfortunately, Section 8 right now is just dried up, but once it opens up again, there are so many different things with housing and affordable housing and food. And then, then they can always direct them to the food bank, which would be then to send them to Silver Lining. So, it would depend on, you could do the research obviously and see, but I can give a lot of insight as to what kind of services we need that I really can't facilitate all the time.
But now, would that be not only just part of the library, that would be part of the township as well? Because if that person is going to facilitate to the extent of what you're talking about, that wouldn't just be for the library, that might be a shared service.
Yeah,
do it.
that could be.
We
I
can do it
would-
as a shared service agreement if the township's interested.
Yeah,
And then we'd have to define the responsibilities.
We still need
And
things. We cannot do
that's
it for
that's
everybody.
the only thing I'm concerned about is the boundaries. And who's doing what and who's managing that person.
Yeah.
And, who's able to prioritize what they're doing. I was looking the other day, and we have that Niche Academy, I don't know if you've ever seen it in the bill list. It's nationwide, it's tutorials for libraries. And I was looking for something else, and I saw a tutorial that a library had prepared for their staff on veteran services. And I thought that, that's really exceptional. So this is where seeing how this is structured, not only here in Piscataway and Matawan, but nationwide, how libraries are doing this.
Interested to hear more?
because the township is building properties that are veterans' preference.
Right,
We're putting up another building,
that's right.
and 150 units, and it's gonna be veterans' preference, and then Old Bridge residents only. So that is something that because right now, they come to Rosemary,
Everybody.
and then Rosemary calls me. So we could use a social worker.
We definitely need a social worker.
And that's, it's something I already started talking about with staff, is it's like, would it be better to have them housed at the municipality? Would it be better to have them housed here?
Here, I think here, because it's a different dynamic, I'm still there. I'm
Right.
still in Parks and Recreation, and Kristen has a staff that's actually dedicated to it in Silver Lining. So I think between the three locations, and then we can kind of define what the lines are,
Yeah.
would make it really easy, because then I could do more, then I could focus more on housing, where they can do more
Right.
the like affordable housing applications through the state and all that stuff. They can do more of that, and we can really create a balance and really provide the well-balanced services our residents really need.
And then just one other thing I tucked in here, just extra without it waiting until it's a big event. This is statistics that Pam was pulling together for other things,
Yeah.
so she sent to all of you, and
Thank you.
it's just, I think, heartening, and this is where if you look, we, at our foot traffic for 2019 was 183,000, and we're back up to 150, but we're still not back up to where we were. That said, we also have an increased online presence. But you can look at, this is also really interesting, our notary program. We have fewer appointments than we had last year, but we are doing substantially more notaries. And I think that's because we changed our policy to say it's a limited notary policy. So now parents know the sign off for the schools in kindergarten,
Right.
we do
They
that.
all come to me because I'm a notary.
Okay, and
They're
this
all
is,
coming to my office.
right, and all of like, the adoption papers, we don't, things that we don't do,
Right.
but the increase has been pretty dramatic. And when you look at
My job mandates that.
Good job.
the rest of our statistics are going up, coming in, and we'll just provide you with these, unless something specific's been requested. We will be asking, or we'll just be bringing these to you every now and then just to see. And Frank, I don't know if you saw in the director's report, your request that we have an emergency alert phone system like the police have to send out, we're looking into it. So that people can sign up when there's an emergency library closing.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
I have a quick question. I wasn't here at the last meeting, I apologize, I had to work today. I got some phone calls from parents, about this flyer,
The newsletter.
the newsletter. This struck me, banned books. Who banned the books? And because I was said to, what is this? And I was like, oh my God, I wasn't here, I don't know. But what does that,
Banned books mean that those books that are receiving the most challenges across the country in any given year. So this is for the American Library Association, if you look on there, if you look at every library throughout the state, everyone's celebrating Banned Books Week.
okay,
So everything from Walt Whitman to Judy Blume, there have been times when people questioned whether it was appropriate for anyone, Walt Whitman lost his job by publishing Leaves of Grass. So all of those things, it's a celebration of intellectual freedom. And this is where we do have that clear line that we have materials for everyone at the public library. When you had a school library, that's when you have materials that are picked out by guidelines to support the curriculum by particular parents. You are gonna find books here that at times have been challenged for their appropriateness. And it's a point of pride for public libraries that we celebrate diverse points of views and that everyone should see themselves represented in the library.
are there guidelines for our books here?
We have a collection development policy.
Okay.
And there's a process if somebody wants something removed, but that's precisely it. What is appropriate to one parent is not gonna be appropriate to another parent. And we don't do we don't go through and any book that anybody objects to, we get rid of. There are people who don't wanna see Heather Has Two Mommies on the shelf.
That's exactly the question. I had parents come to me, that said to me that they feel that they should have the ability to explain to their child before they come into the library what those books are. And it just happens, the person that was saying is that they have it in their family, but they just felt that it's in the children's section, and it's in that circle where the child first walks in and it's there. And I said, by all means, I wanna know what you're experiencing when you go into the library. I wanna know. I don't want you to feel uncomfortable, I don't want your child to feel uncomfortable. So tell me, does that have to be out there? I said, do you have a problem with it? I don't have a problem. I just don't want my child to pick it up, and then I'm not able to explain the way I would like to explain it to my child.
So this is one problem we had was with a parent. We have a parenting collection, which is not there for the kids. So in the parenting collection, someone had gone and picked up, which can be very sensitive topics, and someone picked it up and put it on a cart to go back on the shelf. It wasn't in a display, it wasn't out there. somebody could go pick up the Kama Sutra and go drop it in the children's area. I can't control every book that's there at all times and what they're gonna see. So we do want to be respectful of parents in those situations and with those things, but then we also have parents who feel very uncomfortable at not being able to come in and ask those questions because someone else is telling them that they're not appropriate. So the point of the library, of a public library, is that we're representing everyone, and we are taking measures to make sure that people are comfortable. Are we gonna go through and take any book that has Muslim characters in it out of there? No, we're not. And we can't. I mean, not remaining a public library. So we had one other person who, so we have a process for people to request that books not be there. And when the person, one person last I spoke to was upset, I asked them to go through that process, and I got a lot of remarks that I won't repeat here from that person. So, and it was made into a very big dramatic thing. Instead of us going through the process where I can understand what the problem is and how we can address it, one that we did address, we have biographies, and there's been a trend to make biographies into picture books, because our 4th, 5th, and 6th graders still really like a picture book, they're just afraid to say it.
I still do.
Yeah. So this is where we have some more mature topics in some of those biographies. So when a parent came through, it was in the easy reader section. Didn't belong in the easy reader section. I took that book, and it was a biography about a transgender person. And I simply told staff that we put it in biographies, because that's where it goes. That's not an easy reader, that's not hop on pop, right? So I'm conscious of making sure that we have spaces for where to put things. And the only problem is, I can't control if someone takes a book from one end of the library, deposits it in another, or one collection, and puts it over here, and your child sees it. We also have, I think, what might be the most conservative unattended child policy, maybe in the state, with kids not being allowed in this building until is it 12 or 14? I don't even remember.
Those 12.
Yeah, 12. They're not even allowed to be in this building without supervision until they're 12 years old. So, like I said, I understand, but there is gonna be a book display for Pride Month. It's what public libraries do. And I understand if people don't want to see that, we have things in place for them. They can go online and request their books on hold and go pick them up at the desk. So if they don't want them walking through, the supermarket of library titles, they can request those and go there. So we're working on it and we're open to suggestions, but a lot of people, the line that's coming out now is, if you can get the book, then how can you call it banned? We're talking about books that have been challenged.
I think what happened was, and Rosemary and I discussed this yesterday, we were at a different meeting. I think what happened was, they saw banned books, and the first thing my husband said, well, who banned them? I was like, I don't know, that's a good question. I said, I don't think Old Bridge banned them, if that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know, and then I had 2 parents this morning who live at 2 different my properties, because they know I'm on the board, and they said, what's this banned books? I said, I'm so
So they don't
sorry.
understand,
They don't
the
understand, so that's
question.
What
that's
top-
what it
what
was.
it-
It
what it's really
it was a
about.
question that
And-
wasn't answered.
And it's the part of the campaign to make people aware that this is a genuine concern. There are groups of people together, in other states who gleefully get together to fill out postcards where they haven't even looked at the book. They get a crib sheet, and they sit there and fill out these objections to books. There's a public library in Virginia that's now no longer a public library in Virginia. They've lost their funding because of all of this back and forth with the titles. And this is something that I'm glad you brought up, because these challenges and concerns are going to be increasing in their volume in the coming days. So we are prepared, and we went through a book challenge here with 0 problem. So we went through, we read the policy, They had an opportunity, they came to a meeting, they spoke, they, went and found some books that are particularly controversial, read passages and did those things, and we went through it, and we try to make sure that everyone can be heard and everyone can see themselves in the collection, but we wanna be conscious that it's sort of an obligation to every public library to stand up to censorship.
So these are just books that were challenged?
Yes.
Okay, so, and where the sidewalks
They've been banned in other places, yeah. So Shel Silverstein's where the sidewalk ends, someone found that to be a problem.
There's interpretation on everything.
on everything?
Yes.
It's in my book, case.
Right.
So is, are you there about
Bigger access
me,
is
Margaret?
confusing.
How would we have grown up
sorry.
without
I
Judy
think a
Blue?
bigger activity level
Yeah,
for telephones and computers that kids are on.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I will tell you, I was unsupervised at 10 and I walked in and borrowed very inappropriate adult books from a public library. I'm okay. But I'm saying, they're books
I'm glad to
that,
hear that.
they're books that, I was allowed to take out, I wasn't allowed, there was somebody who wasn't paying attention, I'm just gonna leave it at that. But therapy's good. But these were adult books that I read, and, kids are gonna walk down the street and see
It's
this,
just like turning the channel and like, oops,
I mean,
never
yeah,
I
realized
think-
that,
Me
right?
too.
You ask any educator and it's we're not concerned about them reading. If they're reading a book, it would be
You're
like
happy.
amazing.
Yeah.
We're more, exactly, we're more concerned about what's on
It's the
TikTok.
only time you appreciate it.
Well, no, it is the parents.
You know, that to
the
us,
parents
to us
that
worrying
comment
about
on
what's
the
being,
computer.
what they're hearing on
And
TikTok
so,
and
if there's
information.
parameters on the computer where the kid can't get on it, why are there not parameters on the book? And I said, that's a valid
public
point.
libraries don't have parameters on the computers either.
That's what happens when you go to whitehouse.com and not whitehouse.org.
Well, and
Oh.
this is
Oh, yeah.
this is a very big
Been there, Jean?
discussion.
No, that happened in Old Bridge, my Mrs. Thomas Shepard used to be my son's computer teacher. And they were talking about the White House, and the kids went on whitehouse.com.
Well, that's what happens.
And what she saw was like, oh my God, and that was it, and she was, she's my neighbor.
Thankfully, we have blocking software that's very effective.
And believe it or not, and that's what happened. So, but it,
Back in
until
those
you
days, it was a
did
little
that, you didn't know, and so
Right.
they found out and they had to do, they have to have some sort of blocks, you have to have some sort of block.
And those
You do what
blocks
you
aren't
kids.
foolproof, just so you know.
Right.
No, I know, but you have to
Although,
do something
It's the
sometimes.
constant battle.
Well,
Yeah,
the
because-
orders of the hitting nuns in the Catholic school that my sisters went to, we didn't have any of this.
No, my husband wasn't.
Alright, good, moving on. Committee reports, building and grounds.
Everything has been said that
Yeah.
needs to be
Yeah,
said, there's a lot, so.
Finance, I did not talk to Maria, I knew she was trying to come. Any other updates in finance?
The only other question that we have is the auditors asking about me being on
Oh,
the accounts, which I wanna talk to Maria about that first.
Okay.
The auditor suggested that I have online access
Yep, I
to
remember you
the
saying that
accounts
last
management,
month.
and I've never been asked that before, it's always been the treasurer. So I think it's something that is, needs to be discussed with her.
Alright, outreach and marketing.
Ducks.
Ducks, I love it.
So just, I will show you this real quick, this is, so we are rebranding all of our music stuff. Remember, we had the second Saturday concert series, we aren't doing second Saturday concert series, because I don't want us limited to that. We have kids' music programs, we have adult music programs, we have a former board member who's asking about getting Broadway programs started here. So what we wanna do is have marketing specifically for that, and our marketing team is coming up with a name. Bridge Beats, the library sessions, something like that. We were able to give out at the jazz concert, our concerts for the entire year. So people can now
Love
start
it.
to plan and come in and
See
do
the
that.
dates and everything.
And that's where we have some of these things.
Love it.
This is an adapter for a charger, some cool stuff. So we're just
Very
switching
cool.
up what we're giving out and what we're doing.
Very cool. Personnel, I will email everybody tomorrow and get a meeting on the books, talk about the things we discussed today. Policy,
No, nothing on policy.
okay, and technology. Nothing? Okay,
Can I bring up a topic?
yeah.
Yes,
So yesterday I spoke with Mayor Walker and we discussed the building on Marlborough Road that we had gone to see quite a few years ago when Mayor Henry at the time had recommended that we look at that as one of our locations. So I had a conversation with her and I explained to her that at that point, that's what we were looking to do, and she's like, I think that's a fabulous idea. So that building is still there at the offer of us, if we wanted to
Yes.
go in and it needs renovations, we know that from 4 years ago, or
Yeah.
3 years ago,
3 years
whenever
ago,
we
I
went. I think at that point, we were up to, Frank was supposed to get the specs from engineering, but at this point, if you don't mind, maybe I'll go up to the engineering department and get the specs, so we can move forward from there. We had Bob Verney, we had fire
Yes.
there, they walked through it with us.
Yeah.
Again, things are gonna change more, cause the building is just getting older. Matthew from Parks and Recreation was with us.
Yes.
Rocco, we were
yeah,
all
we
there,
were all there.
we were all there, so I don't know if you guys wanna go tour it again, talk about different ideas that what we can do for it, but that is definitely an option on the table. Since the project down in Lawrence Harbor obviously is not working out right now, you know,
we should do
our
it.
goal was to open up another facility, and it's on that side,
And it's
maybe
on
that's
that
something
side.
we should really definitely look into.
I think we should.
Well, you mentioned in your report that we didn't get a lot of people coming to the main library who are over 4 miles away.
That's something I'm still exploring that software, but that's the way it appeared to me.
Okay, if you could contact both Monroe and East Brunswick and find it, you'll probably find out that a lot of the people who are a lot closer to that library go there.
They do, and so, and Madawan also.
So the question is, if you do something out of the building where it is, normally we would charge somebody who doesn't live in town $75 a year for a permit. I don't know what they do. In terms of why they go there, they pay the money for what, or just because they can use their Old Bridge card there?
Yeah, I mean, part of it's being part of the consortium, part of it is proximity, part of it is different buildings appeal to different people. If you want a more intimate experience, you're going to Madawan, this is much more
This is much
big and
larger.
open,
So
and
we're a
other
little
people
more
come in.
outdated. Yeah, change that.
So,
Yeah.
Maybe it'll change.
Yeah, looking at any kind of branch and things like that involves that software. So I've been working with that to really try and understand it, because they're showing me red dots on a map. What does a red dot mean? Does that mean you checked out a book? This or that? They told me that there's another piece to the software that's another $2,000, and you only need it once,
You should do
or
it.
once every 10 years. I just wanna understand what we have before I
Yeah,
add
of
something
course.
else on.
Of course.
So,
I'll go back with you if you want.
Okay,
and I'd love to see it, because I don't even know what we're talking
so
about.
would you like to all go? We can go do a field trip again?
Yeah.
Go check it out?
Sure.
Okay,
What street is it?
it's on Marlborough Road.
It's like off.
It's off of Route 18.
He's got plenty of
You
parking.
can't see another? You're on the phone with me every day. I need housing, Gina, find me something.
Alright, any public comments?
You'd have to install an elevator if you did something with that building,
Okay,
because you got those
a motion to
old
adjourn.
fashioned stairs.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, I'll second.
Thank you.
All
do
in
all in
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes, good night.
Alright.